At this very moment, as you sit here watching this video, you're hurtling through space at 67,000 miles per hour, on a rock that's somehow perfectly positioned to sustain life. That's just the beginning of how absolutely mind-bending our cosmic neighbourhood really is. While you might think that you know our solar system, I guarantee you that there are facts out there that will completely shatter your perspective on the universe that we call home. In this video, we're diving into 15 of the most reality-breaking discoveries about our solar system that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. So sit back, relax, and welcome to the channel. Fact 1. On Neptune and Uranus, it can rain diamonds. On Earth, diamonds can be made naturally under extreme pressure through natural events or in laboratories. On Neptune and Uranus, the day-to-day extreme pressure and methane in the atmosphere creates just the right conditions for carbon to get compressed into diamonds. These diamonds drop to the planet cores like raindrops, and millions of new diamonds are created every year. Fact 2. The asteroid belt is nothing like the movies. When most people think of the asteroid belt, they think of a densely packed area of space with dangerous rocks that spaceships have to dodge through to survive certain death. But here's the reality. The asteroid belt is actually so spread out that you could fly a spacecraft straight through it without hitting a single rock. The average distance between asteroids is about 600,000 miles, or 965,600 kilometers, which is more than twice the distance from Earth to the Moon. Fact 3. The king of asteroids could end human civilization. Staying on the asteroid belt, it's true that there isn't much there, but there are some notable big players to watch out for. Ceres is the largest object in the asteroid belt, holding about 40% of the belt's total mass. Despite being 40%, Ceres is still only 940 kilometers across, roughly the size of Texas and smaller than our moon. Now for the terrifying part. If an asteroid the size of Ceres somehow got knocked off of its orbit and hit Earth, it would create an impact crater over 1,000 kilometers wide. This would trigger global earthquakes and throw so much debris into the atmosphere that it would block out the sun for years, causing a global ice age. Fact 4. Venus is hotter than Mercury despite being further away from the Sun. For those of you that aren't familiar with the order of the planets, from the Sun to the outer solar system, it goes Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and then Neptune. You'd think that Mercury, being the closest planet to the Sun, would automatically be the hottest place in our solar system. That makes perfect sense, right? Well, space doesn't always make perfect sense. Venus, which is the second planet from the Sun, and almost twice as far away from the Sun as Mercury, is actually the hottest planet at a scorching 885 degrees Fahrenheit or 474 degrees Celsius. Mercury, despite getting blasted with solar radiation, only reaches about 800 degrees Fahrenheit on its sunny side. So what's going on? Venus has a thick atmosphere made up of 96% carbon dioxide that creates the most extreme greenhouse effect anywhere in our solar system. Fact 5. Saturn would float in your bathtub. Now this one is absolutely mind-blowing. Saturn, the second largest planet in our solar system, with a diameter of about 120,000 kilometers, is so light that if you had a bathtub big enough, it would actually float like a giant beach ball. This massive gas giant has a density of just 0.687 grams per cubic centimetre, which means it's less dense than water at 1 gram per cubic centimetre. The reason for this is clear. Saturn is made mostly of hydrogen and helium gas, with very little solid material. So while Saturn weighs about 95 times more than Earth, It's also about 764 times larger in volume, making it incredibly light for its size. Of course, finding a bathtub that's 120,000 kilometers wide might be a bit of a challenge. You'd also need to deal with Saturn's 146 mile-an-hour winds and minus 285 degree Fahrenheit temperatures whilst you're trying to enjoy your cosmic bath. Fact 6. Venus is the strangest planet in our solar system. Venus is basically the rebel of our solar system and does everything completely backwards. To understand why this is so strange, imagine our solar system starting as a giant spinning pizza dough 4.6 billion years ago. When you spin pizza dough, everything, the edges, the middle, and even the toppings, all spin in the same direction because they are all part of the same spinning blob. That's exactly what happened with our solar system. Everything formed from one massive spinning cloud of gas, so naturally everything kept spinning in the same way. All the planets orbit the Sun counterclockwise, and most planets rotate counterclockwise too. It's like they all inherited the same spin from their cosmic parent. But Venus decided to be different and spins clockwise. This means that if you could somehow survive standing on Venus's surface, you would watch the Sun rise in the west and set in the east, which is the exact opposite of what happens on Earth. Venus rotates so incredibly slowly that it takes 243 Earth days to complete just one rotation, while it only takes 225 Earth days for Venus to orbit around the Sun. So a single day on Venus is actually longer than an entire year on the same planet. Fact 7. Shooting stars aren't stars at all. This is one you might know, but trips up even science enthusiasts. When you see a shooting star streak across the night sky, you're not actually looking at a star at all, or even a space rock. What you're seeing is basically a cosmic roadkill. A meteor isn't an object at all. It's the bright streak of light that appears when a tiny piece of space debris, usually no bigger than a grain of sand or a pebble, slams into Earth's atmosphere at speeds of up to 160,000 miles per hour. At that incredible speed, the friction of our air is so intense that it literally vaporizes the space debris and creates that brilliant flash of light we call a meteor or a shooting star. Fact 8. The Sun owns 99.86% of everything in our solar system. Here's a humbling reality check about our place in the cosmos. The Sun contains a staggering 99.86% of all of the mass in our entire solar system. That means everything else, all 8 planets, including the massive Jupiter, every single moon, all the asteroids in the asteroid belt, and the billions of comets, space dust, space debris, collectively makes up just 0.14% of our solar system's total mass. Fact 9. Jupiter has 95 moons and counting. When most people think about moons, they picture our one lonely moon orbiting Earth. Jupiter is more like the star of its own miniature solar system, with a huge 95 confirmed moons. Now, not all of these moons are created equally. The 4 biggest moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, are called the Galilean moons because Galileo discovered them back in 1610. These 4 moons are absolute giants. Ganymede is actually larger than the planet Mercury, and Europa has more water than all of Earth's oceans combined. Fact 10. Mars has a mountain the size of Arizona. Mars might look like a boring red desert from space, but it's home to the most ridiculously oversized mountain in our entire solar system. Olympus Mons isn't just big, it's so absurdly massive that it breaks your brain when you try to picture it. This Martian monster is about 600 kilometers or 374 miles wide, which means it covers roughly the same area as the entire state of Arizona. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. It's also 21 kilometers or 13.6 miles tall, making it nearly 3 times taller than Mount Everest. To put this in perspective, if you're standing at the base of Olympus Mons, the summit would literally be beyond the horizon. Fact 11. There's a graveyard of dead spacecraft orbiting the Sun. Here's something that sounds like the plot of a space horror movie, but is absolutely real. There's a growing graveyard of dead spacecraft silently orbiting the Sun. Some of these spacecraft will be drifting out there for millions of years. When space missions end, these robotic explorers don't just disappear. They become permanent residents of our solar system. Fact 12. James Webb can spot a school bus 300 million miles away. The James Webb Space Telescope isn't just impressive, it's so ridiculously sensitive that it could theoretically detect the heat signature from a single candle if you lit it on one of Jupiter's moons hundreds of millions of miles away. Fact 13. You can hold something in the palm of your hand that is older than Earth itself. Some meteorites that fall to Earth are older than our planet, literal fragments of the early solar system that you can touch. Earth formed about 4.54 billion years ago, but certain meteorites found on Earth are dated back to being 4.567 billion years old. These ancient rocks were drifting through the cosmos for tens of millions of years before Earth even formed from its primordial dust cloud. Fact 14. Humans can now punch asteroids at 14,000 miles per hour. September 26, 2022. Remember this date because it's when humanity officially became advanced enough to punch asteroids in space. That's when NASA's DART mission, which stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test, successfully collided a refrigerator-sized spacecraft into an asteroid called Dimorphos, travelling at over 14,000 miles per hour. To put that speed in perspective, that's about 18 times faster than a bullet and fast enough to fly from New York to Los Angeles in about 11 minutes. The impact was so precise and powerful, it actually changed the asteroid's orbital period by 32 minutes, which might not sound like much until you realise that we've just proved that humans can literally move space rocks and knock them off course. Dimorphos is about 160 metres across, roughly the size of a football stadium, and it was orbiting around a larger asteroid called Didymos about 7 million miles away from Earth. The event was humanity's first run for saving the planet from a potential asteroid apocalypse. Fact 15. Light is constant, everything else is relative. Here's a mind-bending reality that sounds like science fiction, but is absolutely true. When you look at the night sky, you're not seeing the universe as it exists right now. You're literally looking backwards through time like some kind of cosmic time machine. This happens because light, despite being the fastest thing in the universe, still takes time to travel from distant objects to your eyes. Light always travels at exactly the same speed, 299,792,458 meters per second. The nearest star beyond our Sun is Proxima Centauri, and its light takes 4.2 years to reach the Earth. That even at these incredible speeds, light from distant stars and galaxies takes years, centuries, or even millions of years to reach us. When you look at the Sun, you're seeing it as it was 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. If the Sun suddenly exploded right now, you wouldn't know about it for over 8 minutes. But it gets even more insane when you look at distant galaxies. The Andromeda Galaxy, which you can actually see with the naked eye on a clear night, is showing you light that left that galaxy 2.5 million years ago, back when early human ancestors were just learning how to use stone tools. So when astronomers look at the most distant galaxies through powerful telescopes like the James Webb Space Telescope, They're seeing them as they existed over 13 billion years ago, when the universe was just a baby. So there we have it, 15 facts about our solar system that most people don't know. If you love space, astronomy, science and technology as much as I do, consider liking and subscribing for more content. Keep curious, folks. Till the next video.